Hey everyone, this is Robin. I'm here with your NEPA shows coming up this week on Friday, November 18th.
Hello, and welcome to the Beyond the Break podcast. My name is AL, and this is my co-host.
I'm Ben. What's up, everybody?
Looks like you're up, Ben.
I'm up. I'm awake barely. I'm here.
You're awake. That's good. That's
conscious
good.
and coherent are two different things. I'm at least one of those right now.
Well, when napping goes wrong, you know. In
my defense, I ate a bunch of food, and then I sat down on the couch on a pile of pillows, and it was just like, this is where I live now.
Yep. Well, you know, if
don't trust your snooze button, kids. Dangerous game.
Yeah. I could sleep forever. I think I've got two modes. I can either sleep, or I cannot sleep. I don't know. Is that weird? I guess that's what people do. They either sleep or don't.
Either I've either got extreme insomnia, or I'm up for days, or I'm down cold for 12 days in a row. I hear you. I'm there too.
Hey, do you remember being on PA Live?
Yeah, I do.
Hey,
we were loud. We were quick.
You want to see it again?
Obviously.
Welcome back to PA Live. The Big Break is a growing venture that aims to support independent artists with expertise, insight, and most notably, high-quality content they can use to grow and promote themselves as full-package musicians at no cost to the artist. Here to tell you how you can participate in Season 4, we have AL, Ben, Robin, and John. Thank you so much for being here. This is so cool.
Thank you.
And we know there's a contest element this year. Tell us about it.
That's right. So the contest is open for signups for bands in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Signups end at the end of this month, and we've got tons of prizes. We've got 10 big prizes, a record deal from Route 6 Records, a production named after them from Mad Twisted Hatters, a distribution deal, a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole list right there. You can go to our website to see more.
This is like life-changing stuff. I mean, you're really changing lives with this kind of, and putting people on the map that might not get the chance to otherwise.
That's right. That's the whole point of everything we do, is to support and uplift independent artists.
Because there's so many talented independent artists in our area, and I love that you guys are using your platform to shine a light on it. And I know this takeover has something to do with that.
So yes, the Big Break takeovers is basically we're going to take over venues in the area. There's a local restaurants, bars, nightclubs, whatever you got. We're bringing in some of the competitors. They're going to play for the night at the bar, no cost to the bar, and they get a full night of fun, and they get to spread word about the Big Break. So
yeah, it's like a win-win-win. I love that you guys have really covered everything so that these artists can just come in and really do what they love to do, because I think a lot of times you get caught up in the weeds of the logistics, or just the fact that maybe you can't afford to do it on your own. And think of all the music that we're missing out on by not giving them the chance to kind of spread their wings. So Robin, I know media is a huge element to all of this, and I know there's a podcast situation happening.
There is. That's another way that we reach out to the music scene in the area and beyond that to try and lift people up. Essentially, the part of that helps with the Big Break is we are giving information by bringing in industry professionals, different musicians who have toured around the country or have been recording for their whole life. And there's also a segment that highlights original music in the area each week. We bring a list of live original shows each Thursday on the podcast at 8.
Wow. I mean, how cool. It's really your one-stop shop for everything you might need to know to be better acquainted with the music scene, which is really special. I imagine, though, that this is an expensive undertaking, and it takes a lot on your end. So sponsorships are the name to that game?
Yeah, so we offer a variety of different packages for sponsorships. We kind of went with a more a la carte approach. So we want the companies to come to us, and we'll build the package around them, rather than telling them we'll give them 10 of this, 10 of that. We want to build a package that fits the company. So.
Oh, I love that. So, like, who are we talking to? Who might be a good person for that?
Well, I mean, to give you some examples, he mentioned some. We have some record companies, Route 6 Records, Encore Studios. We even have merch companies, Axelrad, merchbooth.com, all the way down to companies like Lindarella's Deli. You know, we have a bunch of different companies, Mad Twisted Hatters. So we're getting a good variety of companies. So really anybody. So if you want to find out how to sponsor us, you can go to our website, thebigbreak.org, and find out more there.
Amazing. So yeah, not just necessarily in the music scene, obviously that might make the most sense, but there seems to be a way for everyone to get involved, because I think everyone is involved with music in some way. We all listen to it, we all appreciate it, and a lot of that is possible because of the work you're doing. I mean, long term, you could be starting major careers. So I hope that you're all very proud of yourselves. Thank you for sharing the mission with us here. Again, you can always head online to learn a little bit more, but the big break, thank you for spending some time with us here on the show.
Thank you, Rachel.
Of course, and you guys stick around at home. More with PA Live right after this.
I'm so proud of you guys. Oh
my favorite part is with the four of us there, I just absolutely tower over all of you.
Oh, fuck you, Ben. Fuck you. You know what?
And then there's
I'm like all 6 foot 12 feet tall.
Tommy or Robin?
Fuck you on the whole show.
But speaking, I want to get through this real quick before we get our awesome guest up here, Zhach Kelsch. We'll talk about that in a sec. But we've got the big break show coming up, and we've got a flyer that we're about to bring up here. And it is okay. I got it.
Button, click on button.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay. So we've got our first takeover show on our
first ever big break takeover.
That's right. And for the people out there that are like, who are these bands? Starburns Red, Docile Sponge. Alex Stanilla, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm not quite sure. Honestly, I've not talked to him. And then we've got our, previous season's runner-up, Running in Flip-Flops, who are coming back to compete again. But just to give you a taste, here's Stars Burn Red.
Get ready to stamp all night. Get ready to fight, 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 fight. Fight, 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 fight.
So, they got like this punky grunge kind of thing going on. Next after them, we're going to have Docile Sponge.
Just let me pass the record store. Repress the truth inside the door. Speak dreams unveiled through shadow. Faded from obscurity.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome as well. We've got who else? Alex Stanilla or Stanilla, right?
Vanilla. Yeah, I've been saying it's like vanilla, but with that ST. So
gotcha, Alex Stanilla.
But I've been saying anyway.
Not very vanilla in music sound.
Stand up like a man. See and stand up.
I feel like that's something that I would hear on the radio if I turned the radio on, and then obviously, these dudes running in socks, walking in socks, running in
flip-flops.
Flip-flop.
Running in flip-flops. Played the wrong one, didn't you?
There's no sound.
There's no sound on that one.
That's all right. They have a great sound.
They have a great sound. I guess you'll just have to come to the show and find out. But yeah, so anyway, guys, it is a free show, 21 and up. Shut y'all mouths.
He shows up to laugh.
But yeah, we've got in this episode, we've got teacher, entrepreneur, and a lifelong musician, Zhach Kelsch. I knew somebody that was named Welch. I think we all know somebody that's Welch or Welsh.
There's about 3,000 of them in this valley.
Right, yeah, in this valley. Anyway, Zach is a drumming prodigy that he's been playing drums since the age of 6, which is incredible. He started playing gigs at 15 when he lived in the NEPA, Northeastern PA area. He began national touring, writing, recording, shared the stage with a number of big bands like JD Deservio of Black Label Society, Out After, J3 of Seven Dust, a lot of really cool guys there. He's written and recorded albums out the wazoo. Let's see. He's, let's just play this video. How about this? We'll just play this video
with sound.
With sound.
With sound.
Gus the Savage. We talked about this last episode, and we said that we'd play it today. So this is what Gus the Savage submitted as his music video for the Round 1 contest in season 2.
GTS. Yeah. Baby, I'm just trying to party. Baby, I'm just trying to party, yeah. Walk up and this bitch is going down. Seen the bad bitches, I just had to look around. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. Cause they some bad little things with some looks that I hella killer. Oh baby girl, you really classy. I had to shoot my shot because I couldn't let you pass me. I got a question I'ma ask you. Can we live life like it's a movie? Cause we'll turn it to a classic. Mami, tú sabes que te amo mucho. En esta vida no hay ninguna que me pueda dar. Amo tuyo, contigo baby tengo gran orgullo. I had to switch up the whole language to express the love that I have for you. So baby, what you trying to do? I hear the music playing and I'm trying to dance with you. So what's up though? I gotta ask what's in your cup though. Cause if it's anything, get it in the door. Came to party with you, yeah. Came to party with you. I came to party. But I only wanna party with you. Cause I only like to party with you. Man, girl wanna slide at me, yeah. She said she wanna grind on me, yeah. I said, baby, would you die for me, yeah. So baby, come and ride with me, yeah. I can take you on a trip where you wanna go. Baby, it's just me and you, no one gotta know. Every singing of my songs, hitting every note. Girl, your booty so big, let me drive the boat. Yeah. Take it slow, baby, baby, girl, it don't stop. Let me know, baby, hit my phone, baby, pulling up to your block. Take it slow, baby, baby, girl, it don't stop. Let me know, baby, hit my phone, baby, pulling up to your block.
Gus the Savage with Party. And we've got Zhach Kelsch. How are you, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for taking time out of your what I would assume to be a very, very busy day to come and chat with us and share your wisdom with us and the world. Yeah, man. Wow. So let's start with you, man. Obviously, our guest. Where are you from?
I'm originally from. So I heard you talking about the Valley. Is that the Scranton Valley? Am I in the right area?
Right. Yeah, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, this area.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Carbondale, Pennsylvania, north of Scranton.
Oh, okay, cool. One of our sponsors, is from there, I believe. Is that right, John? I believe that's right. Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Which sponsor is that? I'm just curious.
That is. Let me bring up this awesome thing because you got to see their logo as well. Oh, you can't see it very well, but it's Mad Hatter's Infused Emporium. And one of the prizes that band gets this season is they get their a product by them named after the band. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're gonna do like a special anything they want, like gummies or some type, because it's like a medical marijuana well, and it's like Delta 9 and all that kind of stuff too. So like
Delta 9 is Delta 9 is what you need a card for. This is Delta 8 and Delta 10.
Yeah, it's the Delta 8
you don't
stuff.
need
Yeah, so you could
for.
sell in like basically in stores and stuff.
Right. In Pennsylvania.
But yeah, get their own product named after them. I think that's awesome. Like that's like when you're a little kid, you're like, I want my own cereal box, man. It's like but there's weed in it.
So,
but yeah,
anyway.
Well, I'm definitely not trying to share my age, but when I was living there, that kind of stuff was not even legal, let alone, stores that existed. So,
oh yeah. Well, I'll share my age. I'm 40, and yeah, I remember those days. I could never imagine, this was one of those dreams that would never thought would happen, But anyway, back to you. So drumming since you were 6, man. Wow. What the hell? Like, how? Tell me about that. Tell us, like, how did that even start?
I think it might be because I'm a boring guy. I find things I like and I just stick with them. That's
fair.
I'm sure at 6 years old, your parents were probably thrilled that you were just.
So the story goes, my dad actually was a drummer. I'm looking at his drum set. It's from 1976.
Okay.
Yeah, I found that in my grandmother's attic when I was 6 years old. I've told this story before, but I never run out of excitement to tell the story. Yeah, I just came across, he wasn't playing. He played in college and he was in bands and stuff, but took lessons. Like, he was serious about it. But then I guess when he had me, he kind of put it away for more grown up type of things. And when I was 6 years old, I found them in my grandmother's attic, and they're really badass. They're for drummers out there will know, they're called Ludwig Vista Light. So they're like acrylic. You could see through them.
Okay.
And they're 1976. So they're red, white, and blue, like American colors,
Right.
So as a 6-year-old, I just thought I discovered gold in my grandmother's attic, and then
giving grandma PTSD flashbacks.
Right. And it's cooler because my dad started playing, and like, he was a little rusty, but then he like knocked off the rust, and I was just jamming, and I was like, man, that's the coolest thing. What I was infatuated with was like the way that like your hands do different things, and your limbs, like your feet are doing different things, but then it comes together. So I love that, and I've never gotten sick of it.
I've always been impressed because I don't have that level of coordination. I barely, I can like maybe keep a rather regular beat, but that's it. And then I'm like, if it changes, nope, sorry, you got the same tempo, same beat the entire song. Cannot do it. So I'm always impressed with that.
Yeah, I'm a drummer myself, but like much like your father, I'm very rusty. So it's
knocks the rust off.
Actually played in a like real band, But yeah, so 6 years old, picked up the drums, and never put them down, huh?
No, I mean, I liked basketball when I was younger. I played football for a little while. I raced motocross in high school. Like, I had other interests, but drums always, like, it was a combination of I was good at it, and I saw a couple buddies break their legs on the motocross track, and I was like, man, that career ends at 25. Like, I'd like to be able to do this for a while after that. So I ended up sticking with drumming. Same with football. A bunch of my buddies were getting concussions, and and I was like, man, drumming is like as exciting, but you don't get hurt. It's kind of cool.
And it's physical as hell.
One of my heroes is like 70 years old. Guy's still on tour. Steve Gadd, for drummers out there. The guy still tours, 70, I think he's 72, whatever it is now. It's like, you can keep doing it,
Yeah. And it's quite a workout as well, just like the other sports you were talking about, in my opinion.
For sure, yeah.
So you went so simultaneously with drumming, give us a little bit of a timeline, of how things progressed for you and brought you to here today.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for asking. It was actually that's cool too, because it's, especially knowing For a while I was living in Philly, and I live in the Poconos now. You asked that before. I was raised in Carbondale, but I live in the Pocono Mountains now, and which is cool because I can kind of hub out. I play. I think I'm playing in Cape May, New Jersey this week, and Stroudsburg, and so sometimes I play back home in Wilkes-Barre and Scranton, and Philly's somewhere that I hit often and stuff like that. So, yeah, how did it progress? It's kind of funny. Being born in Carbondale, I feel like I kept migrating south little by little. I had my own band in Carbondale, and we kind of played right around. I always thought if I ever could break into Scranton that I really made it, And then once I got to there, I was in a band called Idolize way back in the day. We were like a metal original cover band, and we used to play at Corkscrews in Dunmore, and we did Hiles and like all those places. If anybody's old enough to remember those venues. And then from there, I joined a band called Fighting Zero. So it's funny because I was in Carbondale, and then I was like, I kind of got into the Scranton world. And then with Fighting Zero, they were in the Wilkes-Barre area. So that's when, like around that time, they were friends with all these really cool bands, like the Breaking Benjamin guys. And like, there was this band I used to love called American Liar. They were from Hazleton. And there was all these great bands back around that time. And so from there, I met this band called Ajar that I ended up playing in for a few years. They were from Allentown, Pennsylvania. And then from there, I joined a band called Dive. That was when I got my first record deal, was with the band Dive. They were from Philly. So it's funny how I just kept like migrating south.
Right down the turnpike, just right down the turnpike.
One by one.
Nice. So now how about like on a professional level?
How so? What do you mean by that?
So you're doing all these things, right? You've been in bands, you've been recording, you've been educating, right? How did all of that how did one thing influence another timeline wise to get you to the position you're at now?
I think it kind of progressed. It was really like kind of a natural progression. It's like when you're in a band, I was just talking to someone last night about sort of this. Two things I'll tell you. One is that you learn a lot about like society and government when you're in a band, because it's like, who's in charge, who calls the shots, like what, so basically that's a kind way of saying that like we musicians tend to butt heads when we're working on creative projects. So early on, I realized like some people don't have the same work ethic I do. Some people don't have the same like creative vision that I do. And so throughout all the different bands that I worked in, I would always try to be cool and get along with everybody, but at the same time, it's like I have my vision for what I want the art to be, or what I want life to be for that matter, professionally, artistically, all that. So, but yeah, you kind of people rub each other the wrong way sometimes, and you realize like, this is not the greatest situation. So somewhere along the way, I started to realize, and I started to look at it instead of like, let's say this, my dream was always to be in a band where everybody was sort of like equal partners, equal talent level, equal work ethic. And like, how are you going to get that? Right. Like that's like a pipe dream.
Well, you got to swallow your pride a lot. You got to,
one thing I know about most musicians, they don't know when to shut their mouth and just go with it.
I mean, yes and no. It's definitely a challenge, and there does come a point, I believe, where you buck up or shut up.
It's like being in a band. It's like it's hard enough to get along, with one person and make that work.
Right.
So let alone five. But my point is that I just kind of I tried. Everything I did was great, and it's like all the bands. Like as far as the experience, I'm not saying, oh my God, my music's great. Like I'm just saying it was cool. We had great experiences, and then kind of you part ways, whatever. But what I was trying to get to is that at some point I started to realize like, hey, I'm great at what I do. Like I'm confident in what I do, and there's a lot of opportunity. So I started to kind of look at it. And this is kind of when I went to college, because I studied business in college. And I started to look at myself as the product or the service that you'll say. And then like, I started to think of the bands as the clients that hire me. So that's kind of where I'm at today, because I work with a lot of artists, and it's kind of like, whether that's recording or playing shows, you know what I mean? And then I look at students as clients too. So I just have like this large field of clients, and that's kind of how I do this for a full-time living.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that
you're like a contracted employee for everyone, and then you just roll that. Yeah.
Right. No, that's great. That's awesome. So you're teaching music, like music theory or drumming, all of it, right?
Yeah. So I teach drums. I've been doing it since I was probably a senior in high school, which is, again, I'm not going to share my age. Why not? I'm 37, and I've been doing it. So it's been over 15, almost 20 years now. And so I don't teach like all music. I teach drumming, but yeah, we dive into the theory of it, you know, the patterns and the notes, and I teach my guys how to read and everything like that. So it's cool.
What kind of if you had one piece of advice to throw out there to drummers that are active in bands, what you got?
It'd be two things, and it's funny, Ben, because you kind of do you play drums?
No, I sing.
Okay, but you said you can hold a beat,
like basically. The most basic, yeah, like the one hand doing the 1 and 4, the other one the foot doing the 3, and like whatever that
2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's what I can.
That one right there. That one up there.
That's you need right there. That's all you need.
No fills.
My pedal, my foot hits the 1 and 1, whatever it is. One of my drummer friends showed it to me when we were all drunk at the house one day, and I was like, I want to try. And then I was like, okay, I could do this, and that's like the only thing my brain retained was how to do that one little thing. I'm like, that'll do. I can probably play one song with that, but that's it.
Well, it's cool. My advice to drummers would be two things. There's two things to watch out for. I try to stay in the middle. I want to learn as much as I can on one side, but then not get away from what Ben's talking about. Like, you ever notice that like the wisest people could say just a few words and it's like profound? Okay. You know? Yeah. So this drummer could play like the simplest thing, but man, it just feels so good. You know, it's like, so it's kind of like you don't need much, but I do want to learn as much as I can, so I'm capable of doing everything that I could ever need to do. But at the same time, sort of being humble enough to not have to show everything you know all the time, you know?
Right.
That's something
that applies to like every instrument. Like, yeah, you can flourish, you can add lifts and lilts and little fancy things, but stick to what your power is at some point. You use your power.
Yeah.
And then show off a little every now and then.
Yeah, it's like, what does the team sound like together as a unit?
Right.
You know?
At the end of the day, that's what matters, is what you sound as a whole.
Exactly.
And sometimes, it takes everybody doing something really simple, but once you combine it all, it's, it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand,
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, absolutely. I agree 100% with both of those. Absolutely. That's why they have guitar solos. That's why they have drum solos, bass solos. That's why they have all of these, is so you get your moment to shine. You'll get it, but it's the team. It's the team, and it is a team. So yeah. So what inspired you to start teaching and sharing your knowledge with others?
It's cool, like, because I feel like I worked a lot at drumming over the course of a long time, so I feel like I have a really good understanding of it, and I feel like it's fun to share that. You know what I mean? So like, there's just little moments. I was just teaching before hopping on with you guys, and I have one more lesson tonight right after this. So, but yeah, I mean, like every age group, there's something about rhythm. If you guys have played drums, you might know what I'm talking about. It's like there's something mystical and magical about it, and it's cool, like, because people tend to be a little intimidated sometimes, and it's cool to like break that down and get them to like chill and relax. And and then kind of like see that they can do it. You know, I have this belief that I've debated people on pretty hardcore. They're like, you know, like here, I'll give you an example. A student's dad one time said to me, "Hey, he's going to take lessons with you." It's like this 11-year-old kid. And he goes, "He's going to take lessons with you, but you know, he doesn't have the talent you have. So he, you know, just have fun with him. But you know, don't like don't plant anything in his head that he's going to like be, you know, something." And I was
Dad,
like,
you are clipping your child's wings.
I was like, "Yeah, what are you doing? You know, I can't work with that." You know, it's like, I have this really strong belief that I'll debate people on. And I think that anyone can play music, whether that's drumming or singing. And some people have that thought that you have to have talent. To me, talent means that you can just pick it up quicker. But I think anyone can pick it up. And I love the people that take a little bit longer and then they really appreciate it. I actually think I'm one of those people, you know.
I'll actually add to that, and I believe anybody can do anything if they really wanted to. Period.
I totally agree.
Shouldn't matter how much work you want to put into it.
There's, you know, the only thing that's stopping you is you. You know, that's it. You know, and it could, and a lot of times it's because of growing up in an environment where they said, "No, you'll never amount to anything but this. You have to follow this path."
You know.
Right. So no, 100%, man. Wow. So what, you teach all age ranges then, or, you know?
I do. I usually say like 10 is kind of the minimum, just because, you know, they can't reach the pedals sometimes. And but I break that. It's more of a guideline. If I see someone that's like really into it, and like I said, I'm not talking about talent. I'm talking about like hunger, you know, like I see people that love it. I had an 8-year-old recently and a 9-year-old recently that were like hungry for it, and they were great. They got really good really quick because it's all about them, you know?
Right, yeah.
And then I have all ages. I think the oldest student I ever had was 85. And he was rad too. He was really cool.
Wow.
So
I can only imagine an 80-year-old that wants to learn how to drum. He's got to be pretty rad.
He was cool. He was just like a cool guy, you know?
Nice. I remember, you know, I started drumming by putting a pillow on sitting on the edge of the bed, putting a pillow on my lap, and like air drumming, but like hitting the pillow and like, you know, doing all the sounds as I'm hitting the air cymbals. And that was actually Korn.
Nice.
The self-titled album, you know, was what I would just like air drum to all the time. Wow, that was a long ass time ago. Yeah. So, what would you say is something that like, you know, you go into teaching with probably some sort of expectation, or, you know, kind of an idea of what you think it's going to be like, you know, is there anything that like, especially when you first started, that was like, wow, I didn't, you know, expect this, whether it be from students or from, you know, environments or whatever it may be, something that just kind of took you back.
So wait, could you repeat your question?
Sure. Let me rephrase that.
Like,
is there anything that surprised you when you started teaching music?
Oh, okay. No, not really. I mean, I kind of always, you know, I just do it privately. We should be clear. Like, I just teach one-on-one lessons. I was thinking about having like drum camps up here at my house, because I got like a cool studio set up and the fire pit out back. And I was thinking like, man, that would be really cool to get a couple drummers up here and just camp with me for the weekend, play some drums, you know? But so far it's just been one-on-one. So I take every lesson just the way, you know, I just see where the student's at. I just ask them a lot of questions. What are their goals? What do they what are they looking to do with it? You know, and I just see what I can bring to the table, you know?
Right. Nice. So you also write music then? That's right.
I do. And that looks different depending on who I'm working with. 'Cause sometimes it's just, record the drums. And like, if I'm getting hired by an artist, they have a vision. So they like pretty much input like what they want me to play. And then I got to kind of create their vision, that's cool. That's fun. And then I do create my own music. I also play acoustic guitar and sing a little bit. So I started actually writing my own full songs like a couple of years ago, like maybe 5-6 years ago. And I have like 13 of them done. And I've been pretending like I'm going to put out an album, but I just, it's crazy because I have a bunch of like really great musicians playing on it too. And I gotta finish that up. A lot of other,
what's holding you back?
You want the real stuff? Here's what it is. That costs money, and the other things that I'm doing usually pay me. So that's fair. That always backseat.
That'll be it.
There's no argument there.
What a great problem to have.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of recording and, recording for others, and, what makes a recording session go well, and what can someone do to prepare to record?
Well, be a nice person would be the first part.
Right there. That's the best one.
That's
you have to.
I love that.
One.
Because it's like,
don't do anything. Be nice.
Just how about you be fucking nice, people? That means so mean.
Use your manners, kids. It's important still. Please and thank you.
Teenagers, so scary.
Tell us you've worked in customer service without telling any of us you worked in customer service before.
It's a vulnerable space. Some people, I've worked with artists before where they have like this awesome song and they're nervous to share it because it's personal. It's so personal, Right. And then, one's coming to mind where this artist wrote a song about his girlfriend passing away of cancer. And it was like the most beautiful song like I think I've ever played on. And I remember we were in a band at the time. That was my band Ajar, the one from Allentown. Okay. And we put this album together. And then, so I hate to throw them under the bus, but it didn't get finished because that was so personal to him. And then by the time it got finished, like I kept bugging him to like, hey, we got to play that song. Like that song is so great. He didn't want to play it. Like he didn't want to relive that,
Understandable to a certain, I get that.
So it takes, it's a lot of like empathy in the studio. The other thing you can do to be prepared is just, it's self-explanatory. It's like rehearse,
Practice. Yep.
Right.
Go over that stuff over and over again. Cause you guys do the podcast, right? You ever get that little bit of nerves? It's like, that's what it feels like when you hit the record button. It's like, man, you can play it 100 times the right way. And then you hit record and it's a little red light fever, they call it,
Oh yeah.
Yes, that red light in the corner makes a big difference, man. Everyone's prepared to do a podcast. I'm always like, yo, don't even count the first one. Like that, you're never done.
I don't count any of them, honestly.
Man. Yeah. I don't count any of them. Yeah.
I don't count any of them.
That red light changes.
Now put me for a microphone on Sunday. That's different, but
Okay, bye then.
So do you remember your first experience with recording in a professional studio?
Oh yes, I'm glad you asked. That's something I'm really proud of. That was with the band Fighting Zero. That was a long time ago, like probably it was like early 2000s, like 2002 or 2004, something like that. 2004, I think it was. And I was a senior in high school. I was 18 years old. And we did our EP with Sylvia Massey, who is a world-renowned producer. One of my favorite bands, Tool. She produced their first 2 albums. She worked with everyone. Tom Petty, System of a Down, Prince, Chili Peppers, like you name it. She worked with everyone.
Quite the resume.
And that was one of my first, experiences. We used to record like in basements before that, and it was like kind of like your previous question. Before working with her, we just drilled those songs like every day, every week. And you know what happened? Kind of backfired on me because I never worked with a producer before. And so we go in and I'm like polished and ready and I'm going to nail everything perfectly. And she goes, hey, I want you to extend that last section. And I mean, I can like that now, but like at the time I was like, just
muscle memory just kicked
You're like,
in.
yeah.
I just worked on this for 2 years. Like, what do you want me to, you want me to change it now? Like just on the spot? And she's just like, oh yeah, just loosen up. Like, just do it. And I'm like,
yeah, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, that muscle memory, man. That'll that'll take over for sure.
Yeah.
That's familiar with the theremin. It's like
it's not that thing.
There's a video if you search Fighting Zero, I think maybe Fighting Zero Sylvia Massey or something like that. And it's like a video of that recording session. And she actually played the theremin on one of our tracks. So that was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. Wow. So that's quite the experience. Absolutely. So you've also been touring a lot. What's that like?
It's been like slowing down since the pandemic. It's gotten which is great for me because I bought my house in the Pocono Mountains in 2016, I think it was, or 17, and built the studio here. And so I've been teaching from here. I used to teach at like different studios. I used to teach at a place in Jersey, a place up in Scranton, Jack's Northeast Music Center. I love that place. And then I built the studio here. So now I'm just kind of like everything's self-contained. It's really cool. So I'm kind of happy at home now as I get older, as weird as that is to say. I like when I get a call and I got to leave, I'm almost like, oh man,
I gotta leave the house today. Crap.
So, but yeah, prior to that, I was touring all around. I did, so I work with a bunch of artists. One of the ones that I work with now that has me traveling is Nate Hosey. He's a country singer, and he has like a TV show on the Outdoor Network. So he's got like a built-in large fan base. So he's got me flying all over the country. I think I'm playing with him in North Carolina in April. I was in Vegas with him recently, and all over the country really, because he's kind of a big shot in that world. So we've done a bunch of cool stuff, but that's not actually touring. That's like one you fly.
Right, that's one off. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a tour that you remember that just stands out?
Yeah, I was in a band called Don't Panic. They're still around. They're a great band. Check them out. I think they're on tour with like Bowling for Soup right now or somebody like that. They're like kind of a punk thing, Foo Fighters-esque kind of deal. I played on a couple of their records. And we toured with we were opening for the Ataris for like 9 months. And I was in college during that time. And it was awesome. And it was humbling because it was in a van. You're the opening act. Like there's not much of a budget for you. It's like we were eating peanut butter and bread and stuff. So, every gig that I get after that, where I actually get fed a meal, I'm always grateful. So,
yep.
I think every band should experience a hardcore van punk rock tour at some point in their life.
I have to agree with that. Real quick, favorite local band?
Favorite local band right now? Can you consider University Drive a local band?
I consider them a local band. Absolutely.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer. Great drummer. He's the man. Tony's the man.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Hell yeah.
The whole band. And funny plug. I think one of their newest songs was mixed by Sylvia Massey.
Nice.
So when I saw that, I was like, man, that's awesome.
That's off their new album?
It's I forget the name of that track, but they have a music video for it, and it's like a car that's like pulling away in the dark.
Okay. All right. I know.
Not recent, last year or so.
Right. You go out to local venues when you're at home. Do you go check out local shows and stuff?
I do. Yeah, speaking of Tony, he plays in the band Cold, and I think I'm going to go check them out next Saturday. They're going to be right here in Allentown.
Nice.
Yeah, I play a lot, like on the prime nights, so it is rare that I get to go out, but it's cool that I'm, I go out and see my friends all the time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Which venue would you say your favorite venue is?
So I live down here in the Poconos, and I wasn't really familiar with this area very much, but there's this awesome venue not far from here. Actually, two of them. One's called Penn's Peak in Jim Thorpe, and one's called the Mock Chunk Opera House.
I'm familiar with that one. Yep.
They're amazing, those two venues.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got, speaking of venues and shows, we've got shows coming up for the next week, all by original bands, original music. And here is Robin with your weekly shows.
Hi, it's Robin with this week's original shows in northeastern Pennsylvania. On Friday, the 17th, at Plains Pub in Plains, Elephants Dancing. At Tap at Humboldt, Outside the Box. At Best Cigar Pub in Drums, Whiskey and Woods. At PJ's 1910 Pub at the Hilton in Scranton, Aaron McClelland. At Breaker Brewing Outpost in Archbald, Young Burgo. At the River Street Jazz Cafe in Plains, Creamery Station. At Sarah Street Grill in Stroudsburg, Roots and Bluestone are having a single release show. On Saturday the 18th at the Creative Compound in Honesdale, Sam Quick during the day and Owen Walsh at night. At the Keystone Stage in Oliphant, Christ Chopper with sets from 6 supporting bands. At Finnegan's in Scranton, Variant Season, Toothless, and So Much Hope Buried. At TikToks on Terrace in Honesdale, Elephants Dancing. At Tap at Humboldt in Hazleton, Wayside. Come from here. Till next time, folks. Support independent artists.
What the fuck was that? Why did you?
I mean, apparently nobody
purpose, right?
that part anyway.
Yeah.
I think what she meant to say was.
Okay, that was planned. I thought we were just having ultimate. I thought we were having ultimate audio issues today, and I was like, "Oh wow." Okay. All right.
Oh man,
I think that last part's supposed to say something like go to bigbreak.org and send us your shows for next week so we can announce them next week.
Right, but nobody does. Only the Keystone Stage does. So
I shared it with a couple bit I sent out this week to the people I was reaching out to for takeover events. I shared the page so they can send us their list of shows, and
awesome.
we need to get them out there.
They won't. But prove me wrong, please.
We'll see. Listen, there's plenty of live music. We just need to get people to know about it. And
yep.
Everyone's lazy, doesn't want to do the research themselves, so we'll tell them.
Yep, that's right. Well, we want people to go out, so we want people to go out, support bands, listen to this music, buy their merch, share their posts, like their posts, do the thing. Just do the thing. You know what the thing is. Just do it.
Free to like and share.
Right. So Zach, we're kind of running towards the end of the show here, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to plug your stuff. Letting people know how to find you, what services you offer, all that awesomeness. So.
Very cool. All right. So there's a whole lot. I'm probably going to forget some of the stuff that I actually do, but I appreciate you guys plugging. Playing drums for a band called the reggae band Roots and Bluestone tomorrow night at Sarah Street Grill in Stroudsburg. So if anybody's in that area, please come out and hang out with us. That'd be great. I'm playing with them. I'm with them all weekend. Actually, we're in Cape May on Saturday. I play with an amazing artist also from Stroudsburg. His name is Christian Porter. Some people may know who he is from, I forget what season, but NBC's The Voice. He's got an incredible record called Collaborations with Myself, which, as the title implies, I did not play on, but we're working on that. I think he's going to have a band on his next record. So that's going to be really fun. I also work with Aaron Fink. He was the original guitar player, Breaking Benjamin. I think we have some shows coming up this year. Nate Hosey, I already mentioned. We've got a bunch of shows coming up all over the country. I don't know that we're in this area, but if we ever are, keep your eyes, peeled for that. I own and operate my studio here, Goat Lair Studio, drum tracking services, recording, you name it. I actually teach out of here as well. in-person lessons, remote from anywhere. I teach all over the country, students all over the country remotely. And it's cool because I do it, it's a recording studio, so it's fully mic'd. You're getting a full drum mix with, it's really cool how I do it. So if you're ever thinking about drum lessons, that's really cool. Actually, I'm on this podcast because I met Robin at one of the projects that was my brainchild. That's called Succubus, a tribute to Incubus. They're one of my favorite bands. So we've only played one show so far, and if I can get everybody together, we have plans on. There's talk of a Harrisburg, Pennsylvania date. There's talk of a Scranton date, hopefully, nice. And a possible Stroudsburg date. So. I don't even have any promo for that yet. That's a brand new project. So I can't plug, a website or anything. But if you want to keep in touch with me, it's just myname.com, ZhachKelsch.com. And I post everything I'm doing. I've got music videos out there. I have all the music that's released that I played on. My shows are always posted there. Everything that you'd ever want to really know about me, probably.
Nice. That's awesome.
And if I may, it's not music related, but a new venture that I got involved in over the pandemic, music got leveled. It was like, there was no music happening, and I kept teaching. There wasn't even any recording sessions really happening because no one can really musicians weren't making money. So it was like, there was nothing happening. And, this is kind of out of left field, but I think I added you guys, so you might know about this already. I went and got licensed in the financial industry, so I can actually part-time. It's my own business. It's like real estate. So I offer insurance services, investments, financial game plans. It's like basically free consultation. Really, I love that. And the reason a lot of people that have heard about it, they're like, what? Like, you've been playing drums your whole life. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's the best.
Still playing music? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still playing music. I started another business. So I have
great when one of those people in the scene just go and like, yo, I put on a suit, got at this job. I'll hook all you guys up, dude.
During the day, man. I pull these back. But yeah, I'm passionate about that, just like any music project. It's been really cool. The reason I'm really, really passionate about that is because I've been a self-employed musician for 15 plus years. So as I get older, I started to realize, like, my friends, I see them with their jobs getting benefits and insurance and retirement accounts and all that stuff. And you don't get that if you're self-employed. And I didn't really know who to turn to. So I ended up being that guy. So it's very similar to teaching music. I'm just teaching finance too. It's like I schedule people in just the same. It's the same type of business to me. So anybody who's looking for those type of services, you can find me as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Very nice.
And one final question before we cut. What do you think is important in a supportive music scene?
Oh, man.
That's so deep.
Let me ask that one with 6 minutes left of this podcast. That was a great move there, Ariel.
It's got to, and this has changed a lot since I started. It used to be really, really cutthroat. I don't know how it is up there in Scranton as much now because I'm not really in it as much, but community is what you got to have. You have to have this, you know what I mean? We used to have this cutthroat thing where we were trying to sabotage. I'm not, different bands trying to sabotage each other because it's like a scarcity mentality. You can't have that. There's enough opportunity to go around and just look. I'm a yoga guy, right? When I do yoga, it's really easy to look around at the people that are better than you and get like super intimidated. What you got to do is go inside and try to be the best you can be and just worry about what's happening outside.
That was deep as fuck. Good answer.
Oh,
wait on that too.
100%. Absolutely.
I'm gonna hit you deep with deep yoga.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for being on the show. And I'd like to. I know you got to run here for your 9 o'clock, but I'd love to talk to you some more outside of this podcast as well when you have some time. And everybody out there, please go check out Zach's stuff. Like our stuff, share, support, 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 support.
$20 bill on the pavement, and I was thinking I'm lucky. I don't know the first thing about lucky. Yeah, I was born so unlucky. Whoa. And just the other day, got Chinese food, and when I finished my portion, I opened up the cookie and read all about my coming good fortunes. Whoa. It's, 'cause I'm lucky. I am so lucky. I am so lucky. I am so lucky. Most of this is bullshit, I'll admit. I've been a stranger to luck, kid. Wanna write a song, play on these words. Fuck luck, give me something to work with. Whoa, whoa. Just the other day, driving my car, and I was thinking I'd go far. Checking out the fuel gauge, it said I wouldn't get far up of my way.